What's up everyone, Arctic here, bringing you guys some Battlefield 4 tips and tactics. Today I'm talking zone defense on Domination Lancang map. I'm specifically going to be talking zone D on the A capture point, which you guys will see I'll be locking down for the majority of this match. I think I'll really only run out of it once, perhaps. And that's simply for the purpose of making this video and talking about it. Now my weapon of choice is the AUG 23. I have a Suppressor, red dot, Ergo Grip, and I believe laser sight on this weapon, and the duckweed camo for the bling bling camo enthusiasts out there. That is what camo I'm actually using in this gameplay. Now, zone defense, very simple concept. I think it's often confused with camping. If you want to call it camping, that's fine by me, but just know the difference between the two. Camping is basically sitting in one specific spot and not moving from that spot. Zone defense, which should be applied on almost all of the game modes on Battlefield specifically, is generally roaming an area. It's really hard to sit in one spot in Battlefield without someone, a sniper or a tank or whatever, taking you out. Now this specific sequence of kills is why I love playing A window as opposed to C window, although they're about identical. A has line of sight on that counter, behind the counter at B, where players typically hide to capture the point. They're usually prone, sitting there up against the counter, so you can't see them if you're in control of C. And with A, you get perfect line of sight on them, and you're able to take them out quite easily. So that's kind of why I prefer A over C, and why I decided to play A this specific map. But I'll probably do C on another one, and then we'll talk pretty much about the same thing, but what are the benefits of C versus A. And I have, as you guys can see, line of sight on both of A and C there for you guys to view. Now, talking about A specifically and some things that I like, other than the line of sight on B, I also like the visibility that you have on the back A spawn. If you're in control of, let's say, B and C, the majority of your teammates are at B and C, then whenever the opposing team spawns, they're more than likely going to be back A. So if I'm sitting in A, perfect example right here, I get line of sight on those players that are spawning behind that semi truck, I believe is what's back there. And so if you look at the C side, that area is full of junk, and it's a lot harder to get visibility and line of sight on players behind all that crap that's back there versus A. So if they're back spawning on you at A and they're right in your backyard, then it's pretty easy to get some free kills and possibly hold them off until you get some backup from whatever site that they're at. They're at B, they're running A a little bit faster if you can hold them off a little bit. So that's another reason I like it. The other big thing that I kind of like doing is shooting cross spawn at C. Every once in a while you'll get players that run right outside of C up those steps and into the kind of like the middle area of the map. We're gonna see, I believe, yeah, right here you can kind of see it. I'm getting a couple shots. I'm single fire bursting with this AUG, and you guys will see a little bit more of that towards the end of the match. But that's another really good reason of why I like doing that. And I didn't mean to fall out while I did that right there. I just needed to stay in that window, but ended up working out for me. So now I'm basically checking, roaming around to see if there's anyone else, since we had that straggler right there, and nothing. So we're gonna keep on moving. Now, the weapons of choice that you can kind of have, I feel like you really need an accurate rifle. There's a couple that I think fire a little too much, a little too out of control. The stability of them isn't great, and the accuracy at range isn't great. But you don't need something very, very accurate, because you're not going to have too many shots that are going to be across the map unless you're purposely doing them. For the most part, you're going to be shooting medium range. I found a lot of success with the Scar H, the AUG 23. The M416 is pretty good. And what am I currently using? I think I'm using the AEK, I believe, as of right now. And, generally speaking, I'm doing pretty well with all of them. There's a couple of rifles that I just don't like in comparison to like the Scar H as of right now, which I still think is head over heels my weapon of choice. I've heard great things about the Ace 23 as well, so I'm sure that probably will work pretty good here as well. Now, engineer side, I haven't really worked too many of those weapons. The MX4 seems like it would be okay, but you'd be eating through ammo. I think there's a carbine I have right now that I'm using on my engineer. I'll probably list a couple weapons that you can use with this particular strategy if you have some pretty good control over your recoil that work for this zone defense, if you guys are interested in that. Now, finishing up, if you want to kind of capture or maybe defend a point, I think some of the key areas you really want to pay attention to are, more so than the skywalk, because I think that's kind of a gimme, is those side steps. And defending the side steps can be easy, but at some points in time you find yourself a little overwhelmed. It just really depends on the caliber of player that you're up against. I typically like to defend the back stairwell more than the front one, because you usually have to watch two ways, and if you're in the back and you see your teammates are dying, you can kind of get yourself lined up to prepare for another push, versus dying up there and having the opposing team come up through the back and have all that cover. I don't know, it just doesn't really bode well with me trying to defend the front versus the back. You have the skywalk there and all that crap. So I typically defend the back stairwell. There's some cross C fire going on. I mentioned that earlier. And I'm sitting behind the steps. So as they're coming up, I'm looking at the back of their head. So you typically see people like creep up very slowly and turn towards you, and it's usually an easy fight and free kill for you. And if I'm attacking, I typically take the steps, and I use the back steps a lot, and I just have my head on the swivel, and as I'm going up, I'm turning around looking behind me immediately. And I don't really like that stairwell by the skywalk, but I will take that one as well. I hardly ever run across the skywalk from B to A or B to C. Just do not do it. It's just something I avoid at all costs. It's usually a shit show. You got grenades up there, people M320 and stuff. I don't know, it's just a bunch of bull, and I don't like dealing with it. So I wouldn't really recommend trying to overtake either C or A from those skywalks if you're trying to capture it. There is also the ladder route that you can take that's on the outside of the building. I didn't even waste my time with it on this game because we were in super lockdown mode. It's just they had no opportunity to really capture this point, so I didn't find it necessary to overtake it. But right outside the building, right on my left as of right now, there's a ladder that goes up and you can shoot down in the windows. That can be a good spot to defend. Typically speaking, I don't like sitting up there because you are usually prone to getting sniped, is what I've found, and I just don't like it. It's usually a lot harder for snipers to get a shot on you if you're roaming around those windows and make yourself a hard target. So hope you guys enjoyed this tips and tactics video. If you have any questions, be sure to ask, and until the next time, I will catch you later. Peace. If you enjoyed this tips and tactics video, please make sure to give it a like. Also, be sure to subscribe if you really enjoyed it and want to see more.